All right, moving up to a better emotion than shame is going to be guilt, which is associated with blame and remorse. What did the blanket say when it fell off the bed? Oh, sheet! I'm sorry. All right, anyways. Bad joke. Let's get to validating what the guilt experience is like so we have a better picture. Sometimes it's hard putting these feelings into words. Almost impossible. I'm going to do my best. Experiencing guilt and exhibiting behaviors associated with it can be deeply uncomfortable and emotionally draining. Here's what it might feel like. Apologetic behavior. I find myself apologizing all the time, even for things that I know aren't really my fault. It's like trying to patch up the sinking feeling inside of me with every sorry I say. I feel this urge to make everyone around me feel better, hoping it'll somehow soothe that gnawing feeling inside. Avoidance. I catch myself avoiding conversations or places that remind me of what I did. It's like there's a part of my brain that just wants to run away from anything that might make me face the reality of my actions. I feel a sense of dread when I think about confronting the situation, so I sidestep it, hoping it will fade away on its own. Expressions of remorse or regret. When I talk about the incident, there's a heavy feeling of regret that dominates the conversation. I often say things like, I wish I had done things differently. It feels like I'm carrying a weight around, and every time I speak about it, the weight gets heavier and more real. Overcompensating behavior. Lately, I've been going out of my way to make things right, almost obsessively so. So I overdo favors, give more time than I actually have, and agree to make commitments just to feel like I'm balancing out my mistake. It's exhausting, but I can't stop myself. It feels like if I do good enough, it might finally erase my error. Physical signs of discomfort. There's this constant unease in my body. I'm restless, often fidgeting, or unable to sit still. Making eye contact has become difficult. It's like I'm afraid people can see my guilt if they look too closely. My stomach churns in anxiety, especially when I'm reminded of what I did wrong. Can you relate to any of that? I know I can. So here's an explanation about guilt. Guilt is an emotional experience that arises when an individual believes they have violated a moral standard or failed to live up to their own ethical expectations. This emotion is specifically connected to one's actions or behaviors rather than the core of one's identity. Unlike shame, guilt prompts a reflective process where individuals assess their actions and recognize their missteps or wrongdoings. It is inherently tied to a sense of responsibility and accountability. People experiencing guilt are motivated to rectify the situation, which can lead to apologizing, making amends, or changing behaviors to avoid future errors. This reparative aspect of guilt is crucial for personal growth and maintaining healthy relationships. While guilt can be uncomfortable, it plays a vital role in social and moral functioning by reinforcing personal values and encouraging pro-social behavior. It helps individuals stay aligned with their principles and the expectations of their communities. In moderation, guilt can foster empathy and compassion and a strong moral compass. You ever noticed how our society, guilt trips you so you'll take action? Or your religious beliefs, your family, your parents, teachers, your boss? Hey, we got no one to come in tonight. Could you come work for us? Oh, okay, yeah. It's a powerful motivator, and until we overcome these lower emotions, we will be controlled by them. The process of moving beyond guilt involves recognizing and accepting one's mistakes, learning from them, and integrating these lessons into one's life. This enables individuals to grow from their experiences and move towards a more forgiving and compassionate understanding of themselves and others. As such, guilt, when managed healthfully, can be a stepping stone towards a greater emotional maturity and ethical living. So here are some exercises to overcome guilt. In some cases, individuals may experience guilt disproportionately to the actual wrongdoing, which can lead to issues like chronic anxiety, depression, and lowered self-esteem. Here are 3 exercises that can help someone work through the feelings of guilt. A guilt reflection journal. In this exercise, start a guilt reflection journal. Let's get pen to paper. Let's figure some things out. Each time you feel guilty, write down the incident that triggered these feelings. Describe the emotions you experienced and assess whether these feelings were proportionate to the situation. Reflect on the actions you could take to amend the situation or what you would do differently in the future. And the purpose of this journaling exercise helps you process and understand your emotions associated with guilt. By critically analyzing the circumstances and your reactions, you can begin to separate rational guilt, which can promote a positive change, from irrational guilt, which is what we're overcoming here. And that stems from overly harsh self-judgments. Self-forgiveness meditation. In this exercise, we're going to engage in a self-forgiveness meditation. Find a quiet place and close your eyes. Take deep breaths to relax. Visualize a situation that caused your guilt and acknowledge your feelings. And then slowly repeat affirmations of forgiveness toward yourself, such as, I forgive myself of my mistakes, or I allow myself to move beyond past errors. The purpose of this meditation promotes mental and emotional healing by focusing on self-compassion and forgiveness. It helps to alleviate the burden of guilt and encourages a more forgiving and gentle approach towards oneself, aiding in emotional recovery and personal growth. 3. Cognitive reframing of guilt. In this exercise, we're going to identify and write down the thoughts that arise when feeling guilty. Challenge these thoughts by asking yourself questions like, is this thought based on facts or my interpretation? Are there other ways to view this situation that I haven't considered? And what would I say to a friend who had these thoughts? After this analysis, try to reframe these thoughts in a more rational and compassionate way. If you can ask yourself the right questions, you can really accomplish anything. The purpose of this exercise is to break the irrational feelings of guilt by introducing a more balanced and realistic perspective. It reduces the intensity of guilt and promotes a healthier, more objective understanding of one's actions and their consequences. This aligns with cognitive behavioral techniques aimed at modifying distorted thinking and behavior patterns. Each of these exercises not only addresses immediate feelings of guilt, but also works on transforming these feelings into higher states of awareness and emotional well-being. They facilitate a journey from self-criticism to self-compassion, promoting overall mental health and personal development.